I am live. Flashpoint, MLE, that morning lighthouse edition. What's up?
Good morning, sir. How you doing? You got your tasty breakfast in you?
Yeah,
All
man.
ready? Yeah.
Protein pancakes was delicious. A little turkey bacon to go with this, that lighthouse edition.
Yeah, I got up, made some scrambled eggs, worked on the Gordon Ramsay edition, so they're nice and creamy. Some hash browns. I do. It's like, hey, I like cooking, so I'm always going to work on making them a little better. So
Nice. That's the chef right there.
yeah, we have moments, but yeah, I got a long way to go to be anything in the culinary world. But it is a fun hobby.
Listen, the way them cheesecakes looking on Twitter, you got my vote, man.
Yeah, cheesecake's one of those that's like, if as long as it's decent, it's pretty good. So, yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, so we can do a quick rundown of kind of what to expect for you guys, a little overview, and then we'll jump in. So we've got this week at Bungie, we got a lot to talk about. More about update 1.1.4, the go fast, some sandbox details finally, not specific numbers, but definitely looking at some things. But we'll kind of wrap the the whole Bungie feel and everything into the tail end. We also got news of a lot of other stuff coming. So got a nice snazzy game announcement, a couple of them actually. One that I care about a little more. And even Nintendo's still throwing their hat in the ring. So
you can't say this week didn't feel like E3.
Man, it was like a little mini like, hey, what's up, March? How you doing?
Exactly. The taste was ready. Yeah, it was lots of info this week, man. Lots of announcements.
Well, without much further ado, see if this is going to probably be a long point. So we are sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely a long point. We're going to warn the fans now. Yeah. We're not even going to try to act like this is going to be quick.
We hope you guys do enjoy the discussion. Sometimes they get long-winded, but we hope you guys get a kick out of them. But yeah, let's jump into this week at Bungie. So Iron Banner is in session. This is your last 4v4 Iron Banner. Are you sad to see it go? You ready for 6v6? What do you think?
Rest in peace, Paul. Rest in peace, baby.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not. There will be no tear shed. It's time. It's time to send you out to the woodshed. It was a good run, but we got to put you down. 6v6, 1.1.4. You know what I'm looking for, baby.
Hey, that's totally fine with me. I mean, honestly, I like the fact that it will have something that makes it different. If 6v6 is going to be it, maybe there's a little bit more they put to it. But hey, if it's something that actually means Iron Banner is more than just another color, we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do more with either bounties or just more weapons and make their own skin, make their own true weapon set, maybe some different armor. I don't know. And then hopefully with mods 2.0, we'll get maybe some specific PvP or Iron Banner ones you can use. Stuff like that would be cool, but all that stuff's down the road.
Yeah, man.
So I know Dylan was working on this update. He even said yesterday, or it's Friday morning, so even Wednesday, he's polishing it up today, F5 tomorrow. So we did get it. And the first piece is the gotta go fast. So when they talked about the update for 1.1.4, because that's always easy to say, they called it the go fast update. So speeding up a lot of pieces of the game. Are you just even those words alone? Does that kind of excite you a little bit?
Absolutely, because as we all know, and the way major complaints against Destiny has been, at least Destiny 2, is that it feels sluggish, slow. Things take long. This is what we need to hear.
Seriously, honestly, so many good things hopefully are coming from this. But one caveat aside, is this going to bring people, even reading all of this stuff, do you think this is going to be the thing that brings people back yet? Or is this kind of the way other games have done it, trying to put things in place for what's to come in the future?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is not going to bring the masses back. I think, again, this is like we've always been preaching the last couple of flashpoints, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. But I think what's going to happen is the culmination of all those things, plus that magical Taken King moment that they kind of need, has to happen all together. So basically, for the people that's been away, for people that's been playing like us, these stuff, these little changes are great. But once you get a whole multitude of these, come that next, that big expansion. I don't know if it's the next one, but the one after, the Taken King style one, that is when I think it hopefully comes together. But we shall see.
Indeed. So first we checked in with senior Crucible designer Kevin Yanes and design lead Josh Hamrick, of course. Josh Hamrick's pretty out there on Twitter usually, so definitely check him out. So first we've got the Crucible playlist that's coming. So you've got Iron Banner, Rumble, and Mayhem are going to be returning to Destiny 2 with a few twists. So you got Iron Banner going 6v6. We know that. They say Mayhem will feature 90% fewer Nova bombs, so they're going to fix that.
That means I can't glitch. I can't glitch around a map.
More glitches, but but I mean, I'm just glad they're bringing it back. They should never have taken it away. So I'm just glad to see it returning. We've said that before, but coming back soon. And also, Rumble will add 2 additional players from Destiny 1. So we got 8.
Beautiful.
The sooner Rumble can get here, honestly, the better, because I know they're working on the Sandbox. We'll talk about that below. But if they would have had Rumble in there from the beginning, I think it would have given them a better feel of feedback for what the balancing should have been.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm glad it's coming back. Just a little late, but it got there. It just was like, oh, I was late to school. Crap, I got to get there. So,
but hey, really in their defense, 6 to 8. No one expected 8. So no, I got to give them that.
Change, It does it is fitting with everything being 4, so it's just a multiple of 4, but apparently that's what they can do. But I mean, 8 on some of those maps they're not huge. I mean, none of the maps in this game are massive in comparison. There's no First Light, there's no Skywatch, there's no major what is the mode with the vehicles? I'm forgetting the name of it.
Oh, what was it? Was it Big Skirm? I forgot the name of it now.
So somebody in the comments, feel free to help us with that one. But there's no maps of that scale. So if you have 8 people on these kind of medium-sized maps, especially like Burning Shrine that came forward, the Burnout, that's going to be kind of tight. Like you only got so many space. You probably, even if you broke that up into like 9 quadrants, that's basically one person spawn on all of them all the time. So it's going to be, because it's basically a big square. So it's going to be interesting. But I also like that one because there won't be team shotting. So if you're tired of that meta, jump in there and you can just see how you do one-on-one, work on your skills.
Absolutely. Love that kind of stuff. Get to go back to the to the one-on-one engagements a little bit more. And like you said last Flashpoint, you want just getting to test out your primaries without the team shot and seeing what's actually effective. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll give more information on the balance than the team shotting ever would. So they said they were looking at feedback, and they saw 2 key areas which people have been yelling at the top of their lungs for a while. They have been listening, but they just have to. It's Bungie's way. They've been better and they've been more transparent, but they still have to take everything in, trying to do their analysis, work on some changes, have something in the pipeline. Then they'll let us know what we said like 6 months ago. But
true.
But I mean, they agree. They said time to kill and team shotting. So we set our sights on reworking systems, mechanics, and values to tackle these 2 areas. First question, does this mean you're going to change time to kill? Do you want time to kill to be quicker? Personally, before we even get into this, what do you think?
Good question. I'm going to say yes. I think the way I look at it right now, because things are so slow, I think that certain things, while they're effective, I don't necessarily feel they're powerful. And again, because they're not as powerful, that I think also encourages the grouping up, the team shotting, because that's effective. That's when the time to kill is super high, right?
Oh yeah, you walk out and you're like, crap.
Now we just got to be careful because we don't want to get too ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think it does need to go back to that, because D1 was had a quicker TTK. So
yeah, for sure. So basically, what they're saying is a lot of what they were talking about, especially when it comes to time to kill, is the lack of excitement. There are no spikes of intensity. And that's what a lot of people have said. That's why for many people, it's boring to watch on Twitch, because you have 2 different primaries to switch between. Abilities were really slow to come back. Supers weren't that often. You didn't have people sniping. Everything was like just primaries all the time. And after a while, that's just like watching kind of a Call of Duty. And that's not even usually that high on Twitch.
Exactly. No hero moments. That's the problem.
So those spikes of, having a guardian, godlike moment, you couldn't do the, somebody clutching a 1-on-3, because if they're standing together, you're done. I mean, there's no way you can kill them that fast.
Facts.
Nor do you have, a grenade here, a dodge here, a super to pop afterwards, because if you use it once in a round, then you're done. So
that was it.
Missing out on all that stuff.
Yep.
So let's go into some of the changes they've got ready for 1.1.4.
Let's get it.
So revive and respawn times were tuned for all game modes. So respawn timers for quickly have been reduced to 2 seconds, which honestly, that's probably just enough time to take a breath and get back in. So that's kind of cool. Survival and countdown are both reduced to 7 seconds. I don't even know what they were before. I don't do as much competitive, so I don't know what they were at. But if it's down to 7 seconds, that probably must have felt like an eternity. So
yeah, because I'll be honest, like at least when I played, the revives they were like few and far between. It took so long. The timer was so long.
Yeah. Players no longer lose revive tokens on death.
Interesting.
So I guess I don't know if there's a point in those anymore, but I guess we'll see. Then the other one is power ammo, and this is where I have some giant question marks. But we'll cover the numbers first. Power ammo respawn timers and Iron Banner have been reduced 50%. So just Iron Banner, whatever mode it is, 50% faster there. Power ammo respawn timers for quick play 30%, survival 40%, countdown 25%. So more power ammo, which for most people, at least in my view, until they change things, is more rockets.
Right. Good point. That's actually a very good point, because as we know, as it stands right now in the Destiny 2 meta, rockets are probably one of the most effective power weapons, which leads to the whole argument of why everything's clumped up in the power slot. We won't get into that again.
Yeah, we've done that, but
we've done that.
We hope for changes in the future.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, one would hope that because they're getting, this power weapon, that would encourage them to use those other, their other power weapons a little bit more frequently based on the respawn time.
Indeed. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. For me, it's just like if you have rockets in there more frequently, you don't want it to turn into mayhem. It still needs to have some mayhem's meant to be fun and chaotic, and that's what it's going to be. A rocket versus super, sometimes in there, it's fine. But it's just the idea. I don't want normal modes to have rockets all the time either, because then we'll get to something else where they're probably going to be even more prevalent. So. Right. But they said ammo counts have been adjusted in relation to these timers. So in most cases, weapons either retain the same ammo count or receive a buff. Swords and rockets were brought down to stay in line with the rest of the weapon offering. Rockets, you still basically have one, so I'm not sure how much you're going to bring it down. You don't get like half a rocket.
Half a rocket, exactly.
So to me, I get and then you finally have one whole rocket. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that they've got to buff up fusions as far as the ammo count. Make those things really sexy to take, because like we said, that rocket, that's gonna be. I'm surprised an old school Bungie didn't nerf rocket just to try to bring everything else up. Not that I wanted that, but it's the only thing they haven't whacked.
Yeah. The only thing they didn't whack-a-mole with yet. So
very true. Very true. Shout out back, Amnesia.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Enemy players will now drop their power ammo on death. So the brick is now networked to all players regardless of faction. Secure the power ammo. Secure the power ammo to keep it from your foes or steal off your enemy's ghost. But be quick. They don't stay in the world forever.
That's huge, man. That's huge.
So more power ammo, and then the bricks dropping. So if somebody doesn't get to use it, somebody else may. So there's going to be a tendency of more people having power ammo.
I'm cool with this Woody Bunches, man. I'm excited about this one, actually.
Yeah. That's going back all the way to vanilla Destiny 1. Yes. It used to do that.
Yes, absolutely correct. And I like the fact that it's not limited to just your own teammate. Like anybody can go for that brick.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you're holding it and you die for some reason, it's fair game. So
absolutely. And it takes skill to kill someone that already has power ammo coming at you. Right. So it should be rewarded. I like this. I'm very curious to see how this plays out in the meta.
Yep. So, yeah. I mean, I'm honestly curious. Pretty much is one of those. I hope to, when we see this stuff in action, again, I just hope they're quicker on the changes after these big things. Like if they do this, 6 months for 1.1.4, and we're like, hey, power ammo is way too much. Please don't wait another 3 months just to change that. That's one of if they want it to be Nightfall scoring, 0.9, it's kind of like a little mini beta, or this the same way. They need to be more responsive if there's pretty resounding feedback from everyone when this stuff drops. So I hope they're ready to change quickly and can if it needs to. I know they do their testing, but not until you get it into everybody's hands as they can actually really change.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree.
So they also say, what about competitive? So they wanted to reduce the team shotting and quick play in Iron Banner. but they hadn't done quite the same thing in competitive in their testing. So some of the testing they've done with their, things being more powerful, but they still said competitive is more team shotting, which makes sense. Competitive in trials has a nice new caveat to it. So starting in 1.1.4, they've opted to remove the tracker, which I guess I assume to be called the radar, from all competitive and trials game modes. But we talked about it last week. Inferno is basically competitive. You just cranked it up a whole new level.
Yeah, man. I'm shocked by this. I pleasantly shocked. I love that. It's a competitive mode. Radar should not be there. And we talked about it before, last Flashpoint. One of my best memories was Spooky Trials, and I forgot what the stage was, a Hellmouth. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, it was just so cool not knowing. And that's what incentivized, like they said, incentivized you to flank, to go off on your own, not that need. Right now, Destiny 2 is that need to clump up, to feel safe, right? To get the team shot. And this is what I'm talking about. And the cool thing is they're not making it completely hardcore like Spooky Trials, in the sense that they're still going to be the revive mechanic. Shout out to Fallout Plays for actually mentioning that. I'm trying to get him on the show. We got to get you on the show, Flash. Fallout. He's been dropping some cool tweets in reference to Crucible. But yeah, man. So it's still going to have the revive mechanic, but no radar, true skill. Not you got to look around. You can choose to stick close. You can choose to flank. That's what opens it up, man. So I'm very excited about it. I know it's a minor thing to some, but I'm very excited about that.
A lot of people are very, very dependent on that radar. And when you take it away, it's like, oh, crap. It's like learning to walk again in this game. It really feels that way.
Yes. And one last point is that it brings the fear back. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be careful out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful. I'm curious to see how that plays, man. I'm very excited about that.
I saw one guy on Twitter basically respond back to it, and he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna put a post-it note on the corner of my screen so I can't." It's like I'm training up, I'm getting ready.
Nice. You put it posted over the radar. All right.
Yeah, he just literally like took a post-it note, put it on the corner of his screen, and covered up.
Let's go. Hardcore, baby. That's what competitive is. Hardcore.
Like, if you think like, hey, I'm feeling kind of good, go play Inferno. If you're used to that radar, you go to look and it's not there, and all of a sudden, oh man. But that's the idea too. I mean, that allows for. That's where I think power ammo could be useful. So if you have a group teamed up, that one person flanks with the rocket, it's even more effective because you can be right behind and be like, "What's up, guys?" Boom, and they'll never know. So you got to be communicating, talking more. So I think that is a really cool change. I'm glad there's going to be some type of Inferno type game mode. So very cool.
Great. Totally agree.
And again, making things more distinct. It's not just like, one version or the other, and actually making these modes have more of a difference to them, which is kind of what we all want. So next we come to Mr. Hamrick and all of his mentions about what is to come with 1.1.4, some of the balancing, and all of that fun stuff. So he said, basically, as I mentioned last time, our goal for this update is to provide individual players with more hero moments. And that's, I think, what we all want. That's kind of one of the biggest things. We want to feel like Guardians again. We don't want to feel like we have to run in a wolf pack just to survive. So they said they want to increase the frequency and impact of our most montage-worthy power weapons, especially in Crucible, and its supers, abilities, speed, all that stuff is in there. So first things first is like they're very excited for the update. I've seen some tweets from them go out and they're like, "You guys can't believe what is happening right now. I just exploded somebody's head with gunshot 3 times." They just said somebody was like, I think it was Strum and something else, just like topped the leaderboard in whatever mode they were running. I was like, seriously?
Yeah, man, they're pretty hype on this update. I gotta give them that. They're pretty excited about what they've done so far. So, that's good to see. It's always good to see when the actual.
But like, we have to remember it's still Bungie who was like, he had to confirm. No, but it's like, but they had to confirm auto rifles got increased by 0.03% damage, and you're going, what? That's when you just literally want to like set your stuff down and walk out of the room. You're like, no.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on now.
Yeah, I'm like, we all know it needed more than that because it didn't change anything. It's like, well, they're like, this multiplies on this ammo. It's like, it's not enough. We just know it's not enough. So hopefully it's not that, but it seems like if people's heads are exploding and sidearms and stuff that we don't even use are winning matches, they got to be doing something. So, all right. So they went over some of these changes before. So we've got some new ones in bold, which will come to with big changes on the Dawnblade. But they said this is all about going faster, mobility, things like that. So they mentioned that all the glides and catapult and strafe. They're faster. They're more unique. The mobility stat range. This is a big one. Has been expanded, completely retuned. Everyone can go faster, and the fastest speed is faster than ever. So there's a bigger range.
Huge.
So mobility hopefully will matter.
Huge, especially, let's back it up, in conjunction with Masterwork armor. Now we can configure that stat. Not everyone's going to be just, you know, overdoing it with recovery.
Yeah. I have 14 recovery. I'm good.
Exactly. Now the reroll of a Masterwork, you can set up a Crucible Masterwork armor set. You know, if you want to get a little bit more mobility, I love that. They needed that. Mobility needed to matter. Prior to this, it meant nothing. I'm sorry. Strafe speed doesn't excite me. Sorry.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So we've all said the stats need to mean more. This is a step in the right direction. So again, they keep listening, pieces at a time, baby step. Just kind of hopefully put the puzzle together and then ship it with Taken King 2.0, and then hey, we can hope. But we'll get to what it's got to face in the future. So a lot to come. So Arcstrider, Sentinel, and Striker all move faster and at the same speed as one another while in their supers. Arcstrider as a whole will actually be having faster animations, increased range. So Arcstrider is really going to be something to compete with. Hopefully faster animations, so the dodges will be quicker, cover ground.
I'm scared of faster dodge because the dodge was good before.
Yeah, they're already hard to hit when they're going kind of crazy. Me, I'm terrible with it. I really am. So I need to practice up. But man, if they're good with it, they're only going to get better. So that's a little terrifying. But we shall see. They said the previous shoulder charge changes are being reverted, so allowing shoulder charge to be used more as a movement mode again, which I mean, that's just
Titans are gonna be happy. Titans gonna love that. That sounds like skating 1.0.
Yep, that's what the community wanted. So this is all bold. This is new stuff. So Dawnblade has been improved. Reduce the cost for throwing swords.
Thank God. I am so disgusted. I was so disgusted that Dawnblade doesn't even get mentioned, and I'm worried that it wasn't going to get touched. And I'm super excited about this. That's my least used class as a warlock.
Yep. So reduce cost for throwing swords. You get an additional throw. Increased super duration extension gained from everlasting fire. Removed in-air accuracy penalties. Thank you. That should be across the board, but
huge. Huge. Especially now I can pull out my those wings, man. Sacred Dawn. My Sacred Dawn on.
Yep. Reduce the Icarus dash cooldown so you can actually get a little more shifty in the air.
I like that.
You can increase grenade and melee energy. Heat rises gives you per kill. So just more ability regeneration, basically. That's
actually a very underrated perk. It's a very good perk if you use that build. And it actually gives decent, in my opinion, grenade and melee energy, especially in PvE when I used to use it. And I used to use those with the wings. That giving you more per kill, that's a huge deal as a Dawnblade. I put that class through its paces, so I know when they did that, I'm like, okay, they are now promoting big time airplay, and I like that for a Dawnblade because that's what the class should be about.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to be on board with giving us the chances to kind of just have more fun. So people are like, why is being in the air making me unable to hit something? If I'm going to jump up in the air and turn and shoot somebody, I want to be able to shoot what I'm looking at. Like, we're Guardians. Remember, you told us we are. Let us be the, mini demigods that we want to be. We want to go sit next to Thor and be like, sup, dude.
Facts. There you go. Talk it.
All right. So next we come to invisibility, which also terrifying. Now, I think this one affects console more because in PC it's a little less of an issue for breaking aim assist. There's basically no aim assist for PC. So this is a bigger thing for console, but bigger audience. So understandable. Invisibility on dodge no longer breaks aim assist for projectiles. Dodging still breaks both aim assist and projectile tracking, but only during the dodge. Increase the duration of invisibility on dodge by a second, so you're actually invisible longer, which is going to be rough. And increases the duration of the smoke bomb invisibility by a second as well. So pretty much if you had an issue tracking them before, they're going to be running around like little cloaked people all the time.
Yeah, facts. And they get the aim assist, thing going on, and then the duration of the invisibility by a second. Spoke well. Okay, I get it. I get it to some extent. They felt they needed to tweak that a little bit. How do you feel, Hunter?
I mean, I was like, it's okay. I mean, there's one little part in there where they said unchanged for PvE, and I'm kind of like, they have the weakest class ability in the first place. Let that dodge give them a second or two of like, okay, so that, you know, if I'm gonna dodge, go invisible, and, you know, poof out of the way for a second, you know, let me actually lose the PvE enemies too. It'd be nice, even if it is for just 2 seconds, keep you alive a little longer.
Good point. Good point. I do feel I agree with you saying in PvE.
Supers recharge faster for everyone.
Let's go.
Supers now recharge 1 minute and 40 seconds faster, a cooldown reduction of 25%.
Let's go. This is what we're talking about. Feeling powerful. You know, those are those moments in D1 when you had your super. It wasn't everyone had it at one time and you got to use it and that's it. It's like that's the way D2 is. Like just that one time and you're just holding it and holding it and holding it because once you use it, that's it. You're not getting it for the entire match. So this is a big deal. I definitely enjoy this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that answers the question of super recharge was 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
Jesus.
I mean, that's like, if it's 25%, that's the math. So it's just like, that's so long.
Ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, that's why we all only got 1 in a match. Like if you got 2, you must have been just on a tear.
Exactly. You had to be on a godlike spree just to get 2. Like it was just ridiculous. Even stuff that like as a warlock using like Nazarick Sin and what's the other helmet as a Stormcaller?
The Eater Worlds.
Yeah, like I mean, it just still took forever. And these are things to buff super energy.
Yeah.
You know? So this is a huge deal.
Yeah. I was like 6 minutes is way too long. It's like it doesn't need to be a minute, but this is hopefully going to feel a little better. And we should probably get. I wish it was like I like the 25% time reduction, but unfortunately, I still kind of dislike when everybody gets it at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I wish there was like a caveat of, hey, it's 1 minute and 50 seconds faster or 40, but also say, you know, as you get kills or if you get precision kills, maybe whatever, something, so people would get them at different times.
Yes.
Would be a little more staggered.
Nailed
that's
it.
How to feel. You'd be like running, you didn't know. And it would just be one of those things to be like, hey, you never know who's going to quite have one, stuff like that. So
completely agree. That's a great point, actually. Yeah.
A little more staggering, but hopefully, you know, if people get it quicker, they'll probably spread it out a bit more and maybe get 2. So we'll just see. So mods that reduce grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns have been buffed to allow up to 2 times faster cooldowns. This is not replacing mods 2.0, that's going to be big later. This is basically just currently mods are going to are basically going to get up to 2 times faster. So I guess the stacking is going to get more noticeable if you put those together. So that's cool. That's big. I mean, twice as fast on cooldown reduction. That's the more the merrier on some of that stuff. If you're going to stack and not get any other perks, you may as well get the bigger benefit out of it.
Exactly. We're talking about abilities, man. That, you know, people want to use it. They just don't want to use it once and take so long for it to come back. So now the mods have some, you know, effectiveness. We'll see, man. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, and sticky grenades don't kill. It's like, I know a lot of people hated sticky grenades before, but now so many of those things feel like all the time that you're taking to throw a grenade or all the time that you're taking to melee somebody, you could be shooting, and I always lose those battles. So when I use my abilities, I shouldn't feel like I'm making the wrong decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And they at least they have the balance, like you said, right, where the sticky grenade is not doing the one shot, because then it becomes ability spam, and that's what we don't want, right? We don't want ability spam, but we do want a little bit more frequency, and you're still gonna have to finish off with primary gunplay for the most part with these grenades. None of these really are doing like a lot of one shotting, you know, with these grenades at least.
Yep. Yeah, like there's a whole like deep dive we could do, and it's like, do I think shoulder charge should be able to kill you in one hit? Probably, because otherwise you're gonna like lose. That thing seems so weak. But I mean, that's rebuffing abilities and a discussion later. But you know. But I mean, I like the fact that they're gonna be. You can get them even quicker, and especially if you choose the mod for it, then you're gonna get the benefit. So they're getting there. Next, we come to the weapons. So this is where lots of changes are happening.
Yeah,
for everything, basically.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Oh, are you jumping out of your seat yet?
Yeah, I'm excited. This why I have me excited, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So starting with, and this is just going to go down the row in no order, just whatever they have on the page. We've got pulse rifles. Now, almost all of these, I'll say this now, Say increased PvE damage for all of said weapon type. Almost everything in here has that. So PvE damage across the board for just about everything. So I guess they're helping us kill stuff quicker.
Yes.
Just in general, like less bullets, Bungie. I'm kind of good. I don't know if that PvE is like 1% or is it like 15%. I mean, how much of a buff do you think this is?
I'm getting the vibe substantial. The reason being, I mean, I just don't like pulses in PvE. I just don't. They just feel weak to me. And one of my favorites was the what's the trials looking gun.
Yeah.
The I forgot, vigilance.
Yep.
And it's, you know, it's cool. It's just like it just doesn't effectively kill like the other weapons. So time to kill Lord. So they had to do something with it. And it's gonna be curious to see how the meta shifts, because I'm noticing they saying rate of fire, base damage for adaptive, high impact, and rapid fire pulses. So yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes across the board. They're still, like they're saying, that they're keeping the precision damage close to where it's now, putting most of the buff into the body shots. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Hopefully, it's not one of those 0.1% kind of deals.
Yeah.
And but I get the feeling it's not. This is just my guesstimate. I think they're going to go hard with this.
And I think for pulse rifles, it's probably one of the biggest buffs, because I think between everything, they're probably the least used. So it's probably fair that they put this at the top of the list, because I think they're pretty underutilized across the board.
Big time. Pulses have seen better days. Yeah.
I mean, I miss the days of like Red Death and all that fun stuff. So, but it is nice, like increase rate of fire for some increased base damage, increase precision multiplier for the lightweight ones, decrease for the adapt. Like, they're making some noticeable changes, damage across the board. I mean, these are going to feel different and hopefully definitely in line with what they should be.
Boom, big time.
So, scout rifles. So just increase PvE damage for all scouts, increase base damage for high impact scouts.
Yes, please. High impacts are useless, in my opinion. I love that archetype, and it's just not effective. I have an amazing new monarchy one. I forget the name of it. Oh,
I got it too. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to my man Dizzy. He put me onto it. And I think it has the stowaway perk that reloads. It's oh man, it's so good. But I'm like, this really doesn't hit for the slow reloading and the it doesn't hit hard like the Nameless Midnight. The high impact has to be, they have to separate it. So I'm so glad they specifically addressed this, because there's a lot of high impact scouts that if you compare them stat wise to the regular scout, it's not that big of an impact jump.
No, it's really not. And this is one thing I wish they would get into even just a little bit more. Like make a low impact scout be something that's got a little more solid range. Noticeably more bullets in the clip, say something more like 25, and you can pepper more shots out there versus somebody who's like, you want to hit that one main shot, it's going to hit hard. Like, have a bigger range because you have a scout rifle. We have these classes, make bigger ranges in these classes. Otherwise, you really only have like 6 weapon types. If you want to have like 18, give us a bigger range within those. So
preach.
And again, I'm not a creator. I'm sure balancing would be like, well, if you do that, this one turns into an auto rifle, or this turns into that. And I'm like, so I was like, I know it's a tough line to walk, but if you want to give us like, here's your 3 types, and we know these are the types, they need to feel different as opposed to just light on one and be done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to hit hard. To me, it's just got to hit hard at distance. That to me is what the high impact scout should be doing. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like a mini bolt action sniper, like almost.
That's how the thought process was for me, at least in D1. I had a cocky test and all that other stuff, and you want that you sacrifice the accuracy and the recoil, but if you land the shot, it should hurt.
You take like that split second longer to make sure that recoil comes back and you get those good shots. But when you do land them, they hit pretty hard.
Yeah, man. Shades of my cocky test, shades of for pulses, shades of my Nerwin's Mercy. Let's go.
Oh, I called that thing Cositas. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I call it cocky test.
Hey, it's all right. Walking around with that gun, feeling cocky, it's fine.
Continue.
All right, hand cannon. Increase PvE damage for all hand cannons. So, hey, I mean, hand cannons are pretty good. Precision multiplier for precision hand cannons. Now, I'm guessing precision, that means your slower, harder hitting ones, I'm guessing. Actually, I don't know which ones those specifically mean.
Yeah, I forgot. I think those what they said precision. So I think those are the ones that is that adaptive class. There's a couple of good ones, man. I forgot the name. I wonder if Better Devils falls into that precision. I'm gonna pull my app. But yeah,
Yeah.
continue. That's a good question.
Yeah. Increased hip fire accuracy on consoles, increased ADS accuracy on consoles. So definitely some help to the hand cannon level on consoles, because honestly on PC they're great.
Yeah,
And they're
not so much.
awesome. So yeah, they could use some help, which is, hey, I'm fine with that. So
Hmm.
sidearms, increased PvE damage for sidearms. These could probably use a major boost in PvE. Again,
Yeah.
if you're up fairly close, that's only where sidearms are effective, and you're gonna switch. If I'm doing the raid and one of those guys comes up in front of me and this is my alternative, it
Hmm.
better start hitting a little harder. Otherwise, I'm gonna be just shooting peanuts at this guy, and he's like, "Oh, this is good."
Facts. Shout out to the Rat King that's not doing anything.
Yeah. Oh man, that tragic weapon.
Yeah.
So
And he
increase
don't
hip
like it
fire
crazy.
accuracy, increase ADS accuracy, increase inventory size, so more reserve ammo, increase minimum range, which is good, and
Hmm.
added an ADS movement bonus. So if you're holding a pistol, you're probably a little more mobile than say you're holding a rifle. So
Hmm.
that is actually fairly logical. So I like that.
Hmm.
SMGs increase PvE damage for all SMGs. Again, just across the board, PvE getting that boost. They
Yep.
set the optics to 1.3x, just apparently across the board. So
Hmm.
that's straight up. And also increased reserve ammo as well,
Gotcha.
which makes sense. SMGs burn through ammo. Sidearms, you can probably do it as well. I mean, auto rifles seem like you have what, 600-700 clip like bullets on a decent size Uriel's gift. You have a lot.
Yeah.
The sidearms and the SMGs seem to burn through them a little quicker. So I like to see that coming.
Agreed.
Linear fusion rifles. How often have you ever used one of these things, by the way?
That gets no burn in my life.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they had the idea of like raids with the tailored weapons that you had to use, and they threw this one in there to probably be like, at some point we're gonna make you guys use this gun, but we can't figure out any other way to do it.
It's good. We swear. It's good.
Like it's a charge up sniper rifle.
Yeah.
So you have to lead, you have to be ready when that shot goes off, and unless it's just a static boss like Callus,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of uses. So if you buff this thing, it better hit harder than a sniper rifle, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like a linear fusion rifle, to me, honestly, I'd probably be okay with like what if it was like a one shot in PvP, even body.
Yeah, they got to make it like there used to be a guy. What was the one that you used to get for prisoner elders? Oh, it was an exotic. You got it from prisoner elders. It was a fallen style weapon. It was like you know what I'm talking about, like a fallen sniper. What is the? Why is it eluding me right now?
I was like, it's been a while since I've touched it.
But
So
they got to make them play like that. They got to make them hit. They got to make them hit a little harder. They have to. You know, I don't want to get too cheesy, but you almost got to say like one shot. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it could be because I mean, you get people who are good with a linear, like just start melting people across the way because it's like a mini sniper. You pop out at the wrong time, boom,
boom.
You just vaporized. Now, increased precision multiplier. That's good for PvE. So actually put some more damage into bosses, which is nice. Increased aim assist or reduced flinch multiplier. So getting a little more feel of sniper help, which is good. So we'll see if those actually come of use, but those need a huge buff, I think, to be even viable. So
absolutely, big time.
Shotguns increase PvE damage for all shotguns, which is a good thing. I mean, shotguns and PvE it's a risk versus reward. I want that reward to be a little bigger. So
I agree.
I like that. Increased inventory size, so more ammo. Increased aim assist for Suros precision shotguns, which is, probably
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal because that class actually reminds me of the Chaperone, which is the slug style, one hit, and that's a big deal because you want to reward that skill type weapon. So hitting them up with a little more aim assist to make that viable. Those can be deadly if it's done right. Those can be. And as far as the inventory, I mean the damage on PvE, that's a big deal too. I use the I have a great shot. Oh my god! Actually, I got something controversial to say.
Oh, hey, throw it out.
Oh, you know how everybody's like going all Perfect Paradox when it came out.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Perfect Paradox is amazing. The whole quest line, safe on T, blah blah. But the last time I did a raid, the Eaters of World, I got the Zenith of Your Kind shotgun to drop. That thing right there is beast, and it has It has the stowaway where it reloads automatically. It's got 2 little similar perks and I think 1 little different perk. But I masterwork that, bro. That thing is a beast. I'm just imagining now with these changes, how it's gonna play. That and Paradox, I think is gonna be pretty serious.
Yeah, I was like, I honestly hadn't toyed with shotguns that much in a while, but I was thinking for Masterworks, if they were just a bit stronger and you could pump out, 6 or 7 with Masterworks, you might have some more orbs dropping because rockets, I think, need their Masterwork fixed. If I'm going to blow my rocket ammo on a group, I want like 6 orbs to drop. I mean,
let me tell you this right now about this, and this is current D2 meta. I either have the Paradox or my Zenith of Your Kind, and remember, it's full auto. That's the other thing. It's full auto.
Oh man,
you will melt yellow bars.
Nice.
Like it's an aggressive style. I had to change my whole style. Like I'm going up in front of the bosses and bang, 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 and this thing is just running through and it's beast, man. Oh man, I think it's a threat indicator. Some great perks on it. Like love Zenith of Your Kind. That's my shotty of the year. So I'm ready to try it out. You know what I'm saying? This comes out. Yeah, I'm telling you, all you perfect Paradox, don't come at me, man. Zenith of Your Kind. That is the shotty to have.
Nice. Snipers. One we know needs a lot of love. I actually saw the little clip they put up, and I think it will be here probably. They got a clip of snipers getting a little more action. So I don't know if it was just like somebody's using it was pretty solid. Whoever their tester was that was already using it. I don't know if they like, hey, Crafty, you want to come shoot for us? But I mean, whoever it was pretty good because I don't think I'd be making those shots, but it looked viable. So
yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, we'll see. Precision multiply. See, honestly, it's like you see him doing that. Have him go like hand cannon if the heavy ammo's that, and that sniper's the in between. I still like the D1 feel of I want that other slot back. Like having a sniper like be down a lane and then you turn and see a rocket coming at you. It's like it can go both ways. It can go
both ways. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, as much as I'm terrible with them, I mean, I do miss seeing them. I miss the people who were skilled with them. So this is good stuff.
Was it? I know it's not Parthenon. That's the thing over in Europe. Pantheon.
Pantheon, yes.
Yeah, Pantheon. I love that map. I'm not the best sniper, but I can tell you if I have certain a map that is truly built for it, like I would piss some people off sometimes. I know people could outsnipe me. I'm not going to claim to be the best, but I had some moments where it was like, you learn, like when they walk out, they're going to be in line with this wall, and it's just stand back and forth and just like pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, crap, I got to reload and I got all 4s. Like, but it feels awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we don't like otherwise, or now we just have to wait for the heavy ammo. One person gets it, and I don't get to have those skill moments as often. So I miss it.
Good point.
Increased precision multiplier, increased aim assist, increased inventory size. So just boost. You get a boost. You get a boost. Everybody gets a boost.
Aim assist is huge, especially to deal with the flinch as it currently is. I know they're going to talk about later, but aim assist is a huge deal.
Yeah. Grenade launcher, increased blast radius. I'm like, that's it. Really?
Oh, that's so trash. Do we really think this gonna do? I have no faith in grenade launchers at this point. Again, I'm willing to give it a shot, but I don't see these things competing, man.
I was like, I don't know if it's. I don't know. Like blast radius needs to be either massive or quicker or more accurate, but it's just like it's just limping along being a weapon type right now. It's so
at this point, I think they need to cut their losses, real talking about this, and make it an energy weapon.
I mean, why not? Like, there's one of them.
You got the fighting lion in there, right? Yeah. They got move them joints out of there. No one's picking that. No one's gonna sit there. You know what? I'm not gonna use Sins of the Past. I'm not gonna use, Wardcliff. I can't think of any scenario. I got into an argument with one of the lords. Oh, shout out to my man Demon, because he's one of those guys that like any weapon can be effective in a certain situation. Yeah, to an extent, but which are you really going to be choosing a grenade launcher 9 times out of 10 out of anything else? And the only situation I think we came up with was like PvE, and you stun a captain, and it has like a stun mechanic.
Yeah,
that's about it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I'm like, and it's not doing any damage. So we'll see. Blast radius. What about damage? What about that?
Like, have that? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing with that one. That's an L. Grenade launchers. That's an L, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, that's definitely in the lost column. Oh, show. I find it weird they say assault rifles. I guess that's just auto rifles, but
Yeah.
I didn't think they were called assault rifles, but hey, I guess I'm not paying attention. Decreased range and aim assist stats for precision autos. Uriel's gift. Base damage is not changed.
Yeah.
So aim assist, precision, it's fair. I guess we'll just see. I mean, Uriel's is pretty crazy. We know that type is it's up there. So bringing it, just pulling it back a hair, that's probably all right. A lot of things needed boosts, which is good. If you got to bring back the one that's a little out of line.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the precision autos, they dominate right now. So I can see this nerf a little bit. I can understand it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get too.
It's like more things coming up to it because that one's more of the speed that I think people enjoy. But
I agree.
If I guess maybe some boosts across the board change things up. It's about the only thing they didn't mention though was nowhere in that list was any boost. So I guess auto rifles are pretty much where they're at.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Especially the other auto rifle archetypes.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Which makes me wonder, like, if they're bringing everything up, but it's only up to auto rifles. Think about a normal auto rifle in PvE. It's decent, but I mean, I guess I don't know. PvE, it's like I don't want to walk around like too godly, so there's a point of overdoing it. But I guess in PvP, we'll see. I was like, I'd like, can we get like a little more and then bring everything up to it? I don't know. We'll
Got you. No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I also talk about a few perks. High impact reserves, that's going to be increased PvE damage. Kill clip, increased PvE damage. Rampage, increased PvE damage, increased duration, which is nice. Dragonfly, increased damage, increased radius, stronger visual effects.
Yay, visuals.
I like that. Yay, visuals. Grave Robber reloads half as opposed to a third of the magazine. Timed payload splits damage 55 explosive, 45 direct instead of previous split, which was more direct damage. Okay, I don't even know what that's on, honestly, but
which one? Which clip again? Which one?
Timed payload. I don't know if that's a grenade launcher. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that sounds grenade launcher because that's something I don't ever see. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably on grenade launcher.
It's probably on grenade launcher.
Explosive rounds decrease PvE rounds. Explosive round damage. Now this one makes me wonder. What about those Better Devils and Nameless Midnights?
You know what that nerf is about. That nerf is for those two guns.
I know it is, but unfortunately, like those are the ones that make you feel like you can actually damage some stuff. Like if I put a hand cannon straight into the middle of a goblin walking around, right into his crit spot in his chest, I do want to blow him in half. Like I should do that, and I don't only use Better Devils. So if I go walk around with another hand cannon, I got to 2-shot you in the chest again. Like,
yeah, this is borderline whack-a-mole. Them seeing that those guns are the most used because of that particular perk. So yeah, this is mini whack-a-mole. I can't lie.
So this decrease has been compensated for with an increase in PvE damage for the base weapons. Your weapons with explosive rounds will not do less damage after 1.4. So they do acknowledge the worry, which is. But still, it's like explosive rounds. If that perk is that good, see why other perks aren't as good.
There you go. Facts.
So, just like last time, we have a few additional notes to wrap up things, but that's most. So they've got mods rework. So first, let's talk about changes to potency of ability cooldown mods. In our last update, we mentioned that we were going to wait and buff ability cooldowns. So basically, they're just going to not delay all of that. So as they said, they're going to get the ability cooldowns in there. Huge mods update later, so we know it's coming.
Cool.
Invisibility, as mentioned above, currently like things are a little bit there. They kind of bringing the invisibility in line. Basically, they just said, we know you guys are having fun. You're kind of awesome, but if you're just hunters, we got to pull you back a little bit. You're crushing it too much.
The hunter's always going to feel away, though. I have to admit, as a warlock, I do now kind of my friend, shout out to Lord Sinister. He always complains, like, Bungie's always there, but it does kind of feel that way sometimes. But I understand, again, with this, it makes sense. You don't want it to get out of control. But he's like, he had his conspiracy theory hat on. Bungie's always after the hunters.
Yeah, so coming in 1.1.4, so PvP only changes. So the initiate dodge or throw smoke. So dodging temporarily kills aim assist, as we said. Smoke immediately, smoke just immediately jumps to. Not entirely sure what that bullet means.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't
finish typing.
Okay, shout out to Damage and Cosmo, whoever those guys are.
Initiate invisibility. Oh, smoke immediately jumps to initiate
Okay, and then
invisibility,
those other ones.
dodging. Yeah, so
Okay.
yep. So just pretty much the things they said before. So, but most of it's PvP for now. Overall perks and stuff that's just coming later.
Right.
Finally, they did mention snipers in the last update. They said, that bug crept in, so they couldn't fix the sniper flinch. They found the bug. Unfortunately, they found the bug, but it's going to be 1.2, so we got to wait for May. So sweet sniper action is on the way. I'm not sure why it's 2 months and not like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I
agree. What's up with that?
I was like, if you found it, why don't you whack that mole as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to be nice. There's got to be a reason. They found it, but yeah, you would like that to be in line with the this 1.1.4 because with the ammo being you want snipers to be viable, and if the flinch is still a problem, they're gonna get outdueled by primaries. I know they brought the aim assist up, so that's good. And the damage. We'll see. But I am a little mini disheartened by that.
Yeah.
For the sniper guys, and I'm not even a sniper guy.
Yeah, I'm usually not. I try to be on certain maps. I knew there were ones that I was like, no, like I'm not gonna go try and snipe on, anomaly or anything like that. I was like, I'm not that good. So there's certain maps that are built for it. I had some chances, but no, the ones who definitely like it, it's like get it in there quicker. Otherwise, it's just not soon enough. Said this is not the end. They're excited. They want to get it in our hands. Okay, get it in our hands. Get it in there sooner. And then finally, they have a note below. So the video that they posted up. So they said, on that note below, you'll find a video pulled from a 1.2.0 playtest that has all the 1.1.4 sniper changes and the new sniper flinch fixes in the works. So they have it there. They have it in a playtest, but also they're playtesting 1.2.
Right.
1.1.4 isn't out, but that also probably means 1.1.4 has been done. So like, what is their development cycle to push it out to production? Does it have to be done a month before we even see it? As opposed to people that are like other games, I'll say Fortnite or something. It's like, hey, this patch is done. We've been testing it for a few days. It's in the wild like the next week. Like that timing still seems so long.
Yeah, it almost feels like an over thoroughness, and it's like we talked about, Flashpoint 6. It's okay to make a tweak, see how it plays, get it out there, see how it plays, and then come back, as opposed to trying to get this perfection all the time. And it's like, let's get back to the fun, put it out there, see how the community receives it, and then readjust. You know what I'm saying? If need be, I feel like they're in the lab really long. Like,
yeah, it's like they just gotta. I know they're so data driven. I know it's like how they work, but they've got to find a balance. I understand if you throw stuff out too quick, it could break, but you got to be quicker to adapt. These 6 months, 3 months changes, they're too long.
Too long. You have to be constant. Like you just nailed it. Fortnite is the perfect example. They're getting modes every time I look. Every week, it's like, oh, they got this. It's 20 on 20. Oh, now they got this, and it's this and that. It's again 2 different games. The devs. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No,
but yeah, we have to be clear as to if we want to save this thing. When people get so excited about this update, did you see the community tweets? People were excited, right? Yeah. So that's showing you if there's this excitement level is there, you've got to be more frequent or hire some people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've got a huge staff. It's just to the point of if people want these changes, you want to. I mean, they'll play it for this, but they're like, if the next update 6 months from now, I'll play it for a few weeks and be like, I'll just probably fade back and maybe have it in the rotation, as opposed to every week something new's in there. Am I checking this thing out? Like the incentive for every week right now, unless it's a major content drop, for 95% of us is probably not there. But if it's like, hey, I'm playing this, next week it comes back, yeah, I'll probably play it once or twice this week because there's something new in there. Hey, there's this and that's like the continuous. They need to. I was like, I mean, in the world of development, it's like get off of like the waterfall, the big plane, and go agile. Make them quicker, man. Gotta go quick. So.
You got to, man. You have to change resources, whatever you got to do to make that happen. You gotta make it happen.
Shout out to whoever's sniping in this video, though. I don't want to play against you. You're probably gonna kick me, but shout out to whoever's playing. Those are some solid shots. So
beast.
They go on to talk about the Destiny companion app. You guys can read that in the update. Basically, they're just working on making it, more effective, moving shaders around, masterworks, perks, all that stuff. You can just kind of use it for what you need to. It's fine. They also cover some patches, some patch notes, little bugs. They said the EDZ emblem only 30 shows 38 ghosts. There's 41. They talk about Wi-Fi for connections and things like that. And it's like, if you got Wi-Fi, yeah, you probably know it's not perfect. Me, I just pay it. I put a hard line in my house. I'm on hard line all the time. So
fair enough.
Sorry. Pulled my cord out and I wasn't sure if you were talking, so I didn't want to talk over you.
No. All good, man.
And then shout out to Esoteric, by the way. Movie of the week. You got it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming for that guy. Like, he and I both in Destiny 1 did solo Nightfalls. He's honestly probably more skillful than I am. I'll give it to him. Hats off. He could probably run or train around me. But I was like, yeah, shout out to that guy, dude. He's awesome. And he does so many solo things. He finally got it. So just wanted to give a huge shout out to him because that's what long overdue and well deserved. He solos everything, which is awesome. So makes it look a little too easy as well. So
dope, man. Super talented.
Yep. So we've got so cheers to the movie of the week winners. We've also got the Nightfall top scorers there as well. Now, there's a caveat to this, and that's what I want to see. So you've got, since Tuesday, with quite a few players asking about the Nightfall top scores, we'll be highlighting the top fire times each week. As a note, we're aware of an issue where lost sectors are currently contributing points to Nightfall scorecard. We're aiming to resolve this by update 1.2. Until resolved, you may find the top scores to be huge. Which unfortunately kind of means you gotta cheese it.
Yeah.
If you want to be in there, you gotta cheese it. Which I don't know what it takes to, like, whatever the Nightfall is going to be for the week. Just block off the locked sectors. Like, if you load into a Nightfall in that, I mean, you only have you have a timer on it, so you're going to do it anyway. You have to finish it. Just like put up the invisible walls. I've seen them before. Put them up. Like, just don't let them walk in there. So
right.
I don't know what effort. I don't know what that takes, but I feel like that could be a switch. So. They said the lost sector strategy may live until May, but they're actively collecting data. Score pars for the emblem variants are still 20, 40, 60, 80K, but expect these to be adjusted in the future. High scores achieved through creative use of lost sectors will not be factored in when settling these new score pars. So at least they're taking that when they're thinking about what's to come. That's about it. So
yeah, man.
Hats off. It's still like, I mean, if you got 226, you still have 2 people run through killing a bunch of stuff. The other one's like, I mean, you have a pretty orchestrated thing going on. It's just not as intended. So, I mean, when I see, Esoteric get 114, Dado got like 120, like 4 or 9 or whatever. He's like, we could have been a little higher. And there was some randomness to the Nightfall score as well. Because Tree of Probabilities is literally all about the Infinite Forest. What your run is in there.
Real quick, I want to shout out Chris Colbert in the chat. He's talking about he was running a Wi-Fi connection. I wanted to actually reiterate, they actually talked about that. You scroll up a little bit, the source of interference for Wi-Fi connections. And they actually stressed, they're kind of telling people to kind of go away from Wi-Fi and play Destiny 2. And I was like, interesting that they actually had a whole paragraph. You see that paragraph? It was like source of interference for Wi-Fi connection. If you scroll up a little bit.
Yep, right there. Yep.
Yeah, man. And I was like, this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to Chris Colbert. He's talking about he use Wi-Fi, and I was like, yeah, I actually just made a statement right now. So it's almost like they're not guaranteeing you having the greatest experience because of it. So I thought that was interesting that they had to make a note of this.
It's just one of those, I mean, a lot of people just expect Wi-Fi to be one of those things that, I mean, you think about your phone and the stuff you do on there and Wi-Fi, but if you're going to play something that's like high feedback all the time, unless you're running with an amazing router, like awesome ping, great connection, Wi-Fi is still not going to be as good. You still have that time of, data transfer between. It's quick, but it's still not as quick. So it's fine to shout it out occasionally. It's just like for the non-technically inclined people who are like, hey, I just want my shooter to work. Unfortunately, Bungie with their non-dedicated servers and things like that, that's all you can do. Now on PC, I don't think I've ever had that issue. It's through Battle.net, and my assumption is like, I don't know if PC really has that issue, actually. Right. So, but on console, for sure, I haven't done much PvP on there in ages. I got a feeling it still feels somewhat like Destiny, so I understand.
Yeah, understood.
But yeah, don't try and play gaming in one room and then try and have your router in the room that's behind the Superman love wall. Probably not going to work.
I can't do that. I can't have a microwave going on as well, too. I can't do none of that.
Like, don't have your router right behind your fridge that's in line through your wall, your fireplace, and then your bedroom that's behind your TV. Like, you got 6 things in the way for a straight shot? Probably not.
Boom. So that's the TWAB.
That is this week at Bungie. I mean, overall, what do you think? This is what you were waiting for, so now I got to get your overall feels.
I gotta be honest. This was above expectation for the most part. I would say, you know, I wouldn't say like earth shattering, but I think, you know, if this is what they need to do. If they can give me a series of 1.1.4s,
yeah,
you know, with regular intervals, I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna see like this type of stuff. Ebontis for me is like I love to go back into the game, retouch those things that have gotten buffed or changed, and see effectiveness and see how a new meta develops. So this type of stuff, this type of minutia excites me. You know what I mean? Now, I don't even think I actually discredit it by saying minutia. I think there's a lot of good changes. The supers, the cooldowns, you know, the sandbox changes. I was surprised we got a lot of PvE increases.
Yeah, that's actually nice.
Yeah, so that wasn't, you know, that was out of left field. You know, we got a lot of good stuff in here. So again, is it going to bring everyone back? Probably not. Right. However, this is how you start on the road to recovery. You know what I mean? And again, it's like you said, frequency. They got to keep this up. You know, so we'll see. So I would say, yeah, I would say this is a strong update. Can't disrespect it. A couple of minor little weird things here and there, just to nitpick, but for the most part, I'm okay. What do you feel about it?
I mean, in general as well, it's like as I'm bigger in PvE than PvP, I like the boost to PvE. Now, again, I wonder how much that is, especially as they're bringing explosive rounds down. They're not doing anything to auto rifles. Yeah. Like my feel of time to kill in PvE with auto rifles in certain things. In certain things with auto rifles, I'm like, I'm not sure that PvE boost is really going to be huge. I mean, it is some, and for stuff like pulse rifles, it did desperately need it because I don't know of anybody who hardly uses them. They're not viable. They're not an option,
viable, so. Especially in PvE. It was an afterthought. I just put them away.
I mean, but in general, I like a lot of what they're doing. I mean, they're trying to make things more viable in lots of places. Hashtag RIP. Grenade launchers. You may as well, you know, put them in their gravestone now. Start digging. You know, you may as well just set them down, put them away. Either put them in that energy slot. I want to see a machine guns come back.
Oh yeah,
I miss those. Heavy machine guns were, man, my Thunderlord. Oh, so many PvE kills with that thing. So many. But I mean, in general, I like what they're doing. I mean, they're working on truly specifically, like, you know, base damage for high impact scouts. That's something that, like, we know it's like, if I'm going to use that in PvE, I want that thing to hit hard. I want that thing to be a 3-shot because it's harder to do. I mean, accuracy in hand cannon, sidearms, you know, ADS movement, just the little things that makes them feel more like the archetype you'd want to picture in your head. All these seem like positive changes. So as you said, is it what's going to be, you know, the one that's like, hey, everybody come back to Destiny? No. But are these all the things that are working on setting it up? Yes. And I think these sound, at least until we get it in our hands, what are pretty much all good changes.
So I wanted to bring something up, being that we ended the TWAB and we added this in the title and you made a cool little thumbnail. There's some announcements that happened this week.
Yeah, things are happening.
Yes, I wanted to talk about that because you know, as we know, you know, shout out to you, last Flashpoint, man. You got the mind going, and we had a great, you know, tangent about, you know, the Taken King moment, right?
Yeah.
When it should happen, how it should happen, what they should do, yada yada yada. And you know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, now we got some new players in the game, you know, and we know that already with the Fortnite was out there, Monster Hunter and all that stuff. But guess who returned from the shadows?
Yeah. So Division 2. The sequel does exist. So as you guys can see on screen, Massive announced, and it was literally on their blog that they do. And I got to shout out Massive and the team over who work on the Division, the community people who they do a weekly, like almost a weekly thing. If not weekly, it's pretty frequent, but it's the way Bungie does their major releases for, like, you know, the expansion. They'll do a couple streams. They do streams just to talk about updates, taking questions, and like more community, true interaction and discussion. I mean, for Bungie, they get to where, you know, they like to have it all organized perfectly and worded.
Controlled environment. Yeah, they're more freely Massive. I agree.
Yeah, so it's just a little more open and, you know, rolling with some possible, you know, flubs in chat, because it happens so often. You do it enough, you're not going to say it perfect, but they say they do it frequently, and got to give them props for that. But they did announce, they're like, hey, just live on one of their discussions, they're like, we are working on Division 2, so it exists. Now, there's no dates of when, there's no information other than that. They said we won't see anything, but it will be at E3. So if you're going to E3, look forward to that. Good
point. This changes things, Ebontis. We got to talk.
Yep.
We got to go, because I'm just going to jump in. All right. Here's as you know, shout out to Lord Kaiba too, because he's a Division guy, and we used to go at it. And here's the thing. This, to me, is not only very intelligent by Division, Ubisoft, the No Destiny 2 struggling right now, right? Shades of D1. If we go back to history, D1, you know, was in a struggle period. Division came out, and it stole that base. It stole that, but it had a good run in the beginning, right? I think it came out. I forgot what was the DLC. Did it come out before Taken King? I'm trying to get my timeline right. D1.
Taken King was a year after. So if it was September of 2013, is that right? No.
I'm trying to...
September 2014, because PS4 was 2013.
Okay.
So 2014, 15, 16, and then this was 17. Yeah, that'd be right. 3 full years. So 14. Division, I want to say, came out. It wasn't March of 2015. It had to be 2016. So
yeah, it was definitely in a March or an April kind of. I would say like a March kind of a month is when it released. But I'm trying to get the timeline as far as what was the last prior Destiny failure / DLC, because Destiny was in a lull, with a content lull when Division came out.
Yeah. So give me a second on my phone. I will look it up real quick.
Yeah, I need the timeline, because we got to take this thing back, man, because this is, I don't want to say it almost feels, this whole Destiny 2 thing feels
March of 2016. So you'd have had Taken King in the fall of 2015. Big September launch. You had all of that. But for Taken King, there was no season pass. So that's where you're talking about the lull. And this comes March. Like, is this going to be the Destiny killer?
Right. Because so basically, let's go back in time, right?
Yep.
Taken King was out for some time, and then everybody finally did everything, right?
Yeah.
They finally blazed off everything, and there was nothing at that time in the horizon. I think they just did like a minor little spring update. I think they added the Malak thing maybe at that time after the fact, maybe April, but it still wasn't enough. It wasn't like a full-fledged boom DLC until late Rise of Iron, right?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much it was a full year. Yeah, they had that.
Yes.
Not quite dawning, but yeah, there was the Malak, like kind of a strike, which was basically a reskin in reverse.
Right.
And there wasn't a ton to it. So yeah, absolutely.
So basically, like I said, Destiny, it was in a good place as far as the gameplay, the mechanics, but the material, it was a drought of content. We didn't know what the timeline was. Here comes Division, boom, March, highest selling new IP, you know, deep, you know, mid-max game, you know, customization, stuff like that. People come to this thing in droves. Everybody's like, Destiny is in trouble. Right? We didn't get a lot of updates at that time. There wasn't that much clarity. You know what I'm saying? Now, over time, as you got deeper with Division, you start to see a little bit of the flaws. You started to see a little bit, you know, the end game wasn't as deep. There wasn't no promised raids. I remember these fictional stories about, oh, there's a raid in Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? None of that ended up being true. I forgot what they were called, like excursions. I forgot what they were called.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, I could not stand it.
Incursions, I think.
Yeah, incursions, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And basically, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, it just kind of made a few mistakes. It started to stumble, and then eventually Destiny came back. Rise of Iron came back, and everybody was kind of full force. And then I believe the last thing with Division was the cheating, the engine issues. You know, they didn't have a dedicated PvP, and then they kind of really died off. The player base really died off from Division, and then kind of Destiny came back, right?
Yep.
However, now let's fast forward. Destiny's in a worse place.
It really is.
It's not even now that there's not even a lot of content. The game, people are not happy with the core gameplay of the game. I think this is genius move by the Division. Honestly, the key is going to be, when does it release? And if it's, do you even think it would be ready for fall of this year? Probably not, but you never know. If it's this year, whoa, Ebontis. Whoa, I don't know. I'm scared. Talk to me. Talk to me.
So, I mean, it came out in March of 16.
Mm-hmm.
If you go Bungie cycle, 3 years. You go Division cycle, give it a full 3 years. You drop it in March. Main reasons: Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 got announced. We all know there's a Call of Duty. That's not a big surprise, but still sells like gangbusters. We know it's going to sell. Now, it is even going to have competition because Rockstar is walking to the table with Red Dead Redemption 2. So you've got that. You've potentially got something in Destiny in there, and that's where we're going to talk here in a second. You even had Nintendo. We're going to have to bring them up a little bit, but their direct yesterday, they said Smash, their last little bit, Smash Brothers got their little glimpse. 2018. Sometime in this year, and you got to imagine that's going to be a October, November, December main holiday selling title, because that's one of their biggest ones. So you've already got a pretty stacked deck there with just those three.
Just those three
are huge.
And I have to double down on the point you made in reference to Call of Duty, because even though it's under the same family of Activision with Destiny, Destiny has always had those 2 months to breathe. Right? September is when their DLC always comes out. You know, then they have October, and then November will come, and that's Call of Duty. But for the most part, they didn't step on each other, right? Too much. And there was a little space. Now with the Red Dead effect, and Call of Duty moves up to October, that's a big deal. Because even if Destiny has a let's say it sticks to form, and it comes out in September,
probably like first week or 2 of December. So you have 1 month.
Not good. Activision, I mean, Call of Duty can eat at that. Call of Duty is huge. We cannot understate that.
No.
Call of Duty is huge.
Yeah, it's still a powerhouse. I mean, is it got the wind in its sails that it used to? No. I mean, it is a point of saturation that people are like, there's other things. There's your PUBGs. There's your Fortnites that still are crushing it, by the way.
Yep.
But Call of Duty still is one of the biggest games of the year. It just is. I mean, whether it's all the teenagers who just buy it, whatever, there's certain markets that still flock to that release every year, and that's their thing for a couple months.
Fact. And the whole community, they're engaged with that. So let's just say that we know that's happening in October, right? If Destiny sticks to September, Call of Duty's October, Red Dead's October.
Yeah.
Right?
Red Dead's 2 weeks after Call of Duty.
That's insane. That means October, let's be real. It's going to be hard to touch Destiny with those two powerhouses running loose in the street.
Right. And especially if you know they're coming. Right. If you know, hey, I know I'm going to buy Call of Duty. Cool. Red Dead, holy crap, it's the first one since Rockstar in 5 years, probably. Because Grand Theft Auto 5 was PS3 360 and then came over. So it's been a solid 5 years. It's time. And that game sells like nothing else. I mean, that's going to top the NPDs because it's not Call of Duty. It's the one thing that kicks them off of it. So that's without a question. There's also going to be a Battlefield, say, 2.
It's another one.
So, I mean, that's EA bringing theirs to the table. Do they do it a week in between? If you do it after Red Dead, are you screwed? Do you put it in November so you give it a couple weeks? Wherever you do that, it's getting really full. So, my assumption is Division has to wait till at least either winter, which is technically, but whatever, 2019 early, somewhere in there. That's my feel.
You're probably right.
For fit. Because I don't think for them to try and compete on against all of that, I don't think it's smart. And I also don't think they need to. If they've done what they have been able to do this far along, and Ubisoft wants to support it, the Ubisoft, sorry. if they want to support it, I think they're at this point, hey, we want you guys to do it right. I think they probably have a window where like, hey, you've been milking this thing along, but I think they're smart enough not to put it in a place to have it fail.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. Conventional wisdom would say they will not come out this year, that they will show this year. We'll get preview trailer. They'll have they already said they're going to be at E3. I'll be at E3. They're going to have a big presence there. I'm hopefully get my hands on it, give you those exclusives, those IOP exclusives once we get the info. But yeah, man, I tend to agree. I'm just nervous. Like, let's just say in a crazy world, what if they drop November? I doubt it.
I don't know. There's not enough of me to go around. There's not enough of me to try and play all this stuff because I never played Red Dead Redemption 1. I'll be honest. I've always heard cool things.
Oh, man, you in the same boat? We redheaded stepchilds of Red Dead Redemption. Okay, cool.
Okay,
so
we haven't touched it. Yeah, so just jump into 2. Hopefully PC launches there, which I think PC is getting a little more popular. So hopefully these are more concurrent releases. It's going to look good. It's going to be kind of its own thing. I'm sure it's a story depth game, kind of like Grand Theft Auto was. But as successful as GTA Online has been, that's probably given them more income than the actual sales of the base game. So online, they've made so much money from that. They're going to have a version of that for Red Dead Redemption. Where do you find time for another online game with all of this stuff coming? And then 2 of them, whatever Destiny 2, whenever it falls, if it's September, you might get a month and then you're about to run out of time for other stuff.
Facts.
Or do you go face straight off with Division with Destiny 2 too?
Yeah. And then you got me thinking about, it's 2 other factors here. Call of Duty moved their date. Let's call it what it is. They moved because of Red Dead.
Oh, absolutely.
In the history of Call of Duty has always sold that November up.
Yep.
Now this 1 year out of nowhere, they know that Rockstar. They understand what Rockstar is dealing with over there. Yep. But yeah. So my thing is, okay, what if they follow your advice from last Flashpoint, right? Which is, don't put it out September. Actually delay it and wait till it's done. Now I'm worried about, okay, if you do that, I don't think they would pull out DLC in December, right? If they wait. They would go kind of like a spring kind of thing, I would think. And then you risk that dropping in conjunction with Division, which we assume drops early 2019.
Yeah, that's my feel. But yeah, then you face another one. Like this one had a huge, you watch the numbers on Twitch. Like when Division came out, you literally watched, if you have 2 sides of room, Destiny, Division 2 launched, about 80% walked to the other side of the room for a little while and they wanted to check it out. So it may depend on who drops first. Like what if Destiny's in February and it's great? Does that set the bar higher for Division? What if Division can get it out in January and Destiny's set up for February? Does that set up Destiny to be like, oh crap?
But here's the thing, Ebontis. You would have to assume
that they'd even wait that long.
I'm just talking about from a Division standpoint, right?
Yeah.
They have sat there and front row watched all the mistakes of Destiny 2.
Yep.
You can't, when they came out, their whole mission was to initially get Destiny 1, kill Destiny 1 initially. So now they've got all this data. They're seeing what their community doesn't want, and let's be honest, even though I haven't been playing Division since Division 1 much, I've been watching videos here and there, and I know a couple people who still play. They've drastically improved that game. You know what I mean? From the base. And now I'm hearing stuff. You play D1, you can get some stuff that go into D2. So my thing coming in is like, Division's coming. They're coming, and they have a lot of ammunition. And I think I'm worried that even if Destiny 2 is fantastic revival, you know what a new game does.
Right. There's no question, like something new, a full sequel. Same thing with Destiny 2. It had big numbers, like people ran out of it real quick, but whatever a full sequel, it's going to get some attention. So that's not a, but yeah, you're talking about update 1.8. That was the big one. And they're even going to give a little bit more, but they took the overall game world and they made like a high rank version of that. The same thing we've talked about for Destiny. Make those patrols something. They did that. They took the time and they put that into their game. They took content and they made, and these are the things that if they're smart, nothing against Bungie, whether it was shortened schedule, couldn't have time to get all the features in there, had to rework an entire thing. We don't know, but there was a lot that was learned for the first one that was not brought into 2.
Facts.
That I don't think, if Ubisoft and Massive are smart, they're not going to make those same mistakes. They're going to take all the stuff they learned and have a more complete package coming to the table.
Yeah, they've got the playbook. Don't do what Destiny 2 did.
Yeah, literally, you watched this, like, you watched it hit the fan and be like, okay, so that didn't work. We don't know why. We don't know what happened. But, I mean, they have so many teams working on this thing, too. You've got Massive, Ubisoft Reflections, Red Storm, Annecy, Shanghai, Bucharest. Like, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 6 teams. That's a lot of people.
You think?
So, I mean, just the idea of the fact that, you know, they're going big. I mean, Rainbow Six, look at what they did with Siege. They took a game that launched poorly, and now, honestly, for competitive shooters, it's literally probably one of the top.
Perfect example.
Skill.
That you just nailed it, because to me, as much crap as Ubisoft gets, they listen to their community, and they have proven that they can turn franchises around. Assassin's Creed, boom, it had a revival, right? You know, look at Rainbow Six. That's one of, in my opinion, one of the greatest gaming turnarounds.
Oh yeah.
Period. You know what I mean?
That game was trash at launch and nobody's playing it. Exactly. They've stuck with it for years.
Ubisoft's trying to win. So they've got the notes. They've been already fixing things since Division 1. Division 2's coming, man. I am very, this announcement threw me for a loop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous, man. I don't know, because even if they don't drop this year and they drop early 2019, you know,
you're just chopping off spots where Destiny 2 is going to have a chance to shine.
Exactly.
It doesn't have a lot of places to win. It's got to be amazing. Like, we know.
So, which now goes back to last point, and I know I've been talking a lot, which goes back to Doc Amnesia's point that maybe they can't wait that long. Maybe
I mean,
it may have to be all guns blazing summer, like, because you know summers tend to be a little slower. You know what I'm saying? They may have to have all on deck. You got Call of Duty in October, Red Dead in October, Division on deck. You can't drop in that normal time frame. September, you're not going to get enough time to shine. If you push it back to the early 2019, we assume Division's in that time frame. Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, you look at their roadmap though, and there's stuff that's like, hey, it's not even going to make it into 1.2. Mods 2.0 is not going to be in 1.2. How much more time are they going to have? You have May, April. So you have May, June, July, August. You have 3 months, and then September is their typical time frame. Yeah. Can you fit everything you need in Destiny 2 to fix it by then?
That's the point. I mean,
I know those. If there's a world of crunch time, Bungie developers, they're probably not going to get paid enough for what comes in the next like 6 to 9 months. They're going to be working some long, tough hours trying, and it's like, and we know we've set the bar high, but it's like. There are just a lot of things that were in a game once that we wanted again. So there's never enough content for most of this stuff. We know that.
Right.
It's tough.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm very curious to see how the expansions play out, especially the one after expansion 2. Right. So we know expansion 2 is what, May or whatever. Fine. You know, but like you said, with all this stuff getting delayed, and you know, we haven't even talked about the supposed, you know, weapon rework that everybody actually wants, that would legitimately bring people back if they put specials in, the
weapon slots.
Yeah, the weapon slot stuff, placement. That's a big deal. I looked at, trust me, there's a lot of positive stuff about this 1.1.4 that I saw on Twitter, more positive than negative. But I saw negative stuff like, you guys didn't listen. We told you we still don't want yada, yada, yada. Fail. I've seen those comments as soon as they tweeted, about this Sandbox update. And I'm just like, still a big point of contention,
It is. Yeah. So it's like they doubled down on a new system.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe that was, but it was just like, I mean, it's just one of those, you're just like, you got stuck on the bill and it's just like crap. Like, you got to look back and go, hey, we doubled down on this system. Whatever happened, I mean, is there a point where it's like, hey, put them under an NDA, ask your big peoples, like, do you think this is going to be like fitting? Do you think this is going to be right? And
let's just equate this to a relationship. They bet on the wrong girl.
Pretty much. Yeah,
they bet on the casual chick, right? Yep. They say, you know what? This is what we got to do. Bigger and better. Casual. The casuals, it was a nice little quick fling. And they've moved on. Now the core, who was still there and loyal, now they're disgruntled because you cheated. You cheated on us. And now you don't have enough time to get things right before this other person comes in the relationship who we know is trying to woo us. We know Division is trying to. Division's whole intention was so they saw the success of Destiny 1. Ubi wanted to get a piece of that MMO pie. You know what I'm saying? The MMO light pie, I should say.
Yeah, basically.
This relationship wars, man. Everybody wants our time. And then we got Fortnite running around out here. You got Nintendo running around out here. Oh, man.
It's a good time to be a gamer, but a rough problem to have for a developer because more and more there's so many good ones. It's rough, man. But man, for Division though, like some of what I really enjoyed about that is the deeper dive into stats and things. I mean, some of it wasn't clear, like, a vertical grip versus a horizontal. Like some of that stuff was a little vague. And again, we like some transparency, but there were options to be like, hey, there's a little more, there's different levels of guns. And no, but there were things that were a struggle and they need to work on fixing. It's like, the Dark Zone was way too trolly. I mean, that's terrible. The end game was not really there. I mean, the incursions were painful. It was a room that was it was rough. Like it didn't. So in theory, that's one, but it was like, we got to see. And that's where I still wonder. It's like, do you still put Division in New York? Do you have it more? Like, we need some more diversity. We need some more options to Division. Because if
we need vehicles, I don't want to walk everywhere in New York now.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, at least let me get on a bike, a motorcycle.
I don't care. Bikes. Come on now.
Even a motorcycle, those still function, right? Moped.
Preach it.
Yeah, anything. So, I mean, things like that, hopefully that would be like, your big pitch at E3. Be like, oh, yeah, you got a motorcycle now, or you got even just a bicycle, just forward movement that's a little faster than jogging. Come on. So, but also it's like, you got to have an end game that keeps them around that isn't going to be just a box.
Facts. That's the hurdle Division has to, because as great as it was with the deep diving, the mid-maxing, the gear, as far like they really had great systems. They were doing emote. They had emotes before D2 got emotes. D2 still doesn't have the emote wheel.
Nope.
Division had that.
How is that not? How is that not?
Exactly. They had they had a lot. They had the fast travel. They had a lot of cool, innovative things, and just managing your character interface wise was really cool. So the base stuff for the most part was there. They just need a little bit more on the enemy variety, because they went so realistic. That was my problem with Division as well. Excuse me. What it was that it's trying to be an MMO. See, why Destiny works is because it's fantasy. It's space fantasy. You're shooting these, powerful beings. You can get away with that. If there's a guy with a hoodie and you shoot him 1,000 times and there's a number 9 going over his head, it takes you a little bit out of that immersion.
Yeah.
So it's like they need kind of like zombies or something like that. So I think you're making a great point, Ebontis, in the fact that there's still stuff they have to prove. Right. And you now get me down to reality, which is that as great as they have the mistakes of Destiny 2, but let's see what they do with that end game. Let's see, how they handle stuff. It's the bullet sponges and stuff like that. Those are problems that they have. But it's going to be interesting, man. I had to bring this. I know this is a little long-winded, but I had to bring this up, man.
No, there's no way. I saw it too. And I mean, when I started my channel, it was literally, I started with Destiny doing some stuff. And then one of my first little boosts in subs when I was like, I did a giveaway for the Division. And that's like, I broke 100 subs because I was doing a giveaway. And that was like one of the first things on my channel I was doing. So no, I mean, I definitely got to come back and talk about this one because it has certain, like that 1 to level 30 system was really cool.
Yes. Very
cool. The way they had the in-game lore with the holograms.
Yes.
That was awesome. I mean, you had the side mission, you had the different tiers of missions, but they were all still tied within the story. So you had, you had your major events you had to go do. You had your side missions that you would go do. Still in this open world, still running around in a place that looked amazing, by the way.
Oh, graphically, the vision looked fantastic. Yeah,
I was like, I finally, because it was cheap on Steam or something like the full gold thing was $20 or something on Steam. I bought it on my new PC. Looks immaculate. Like you put Division and Destiny by each other on PC. Those are two PC games that look amazing.
Yeah.
So take 3 years, refine it. These things are gonna look and play awesome. Just got to see what the systems are.
Yeah, man. I'm very curious, man. I'm very curious, and I'm actually gonna touch the. I know they had a couple of updates. There was one expansion that I really did like. I know we're talking like this Division and Flashpoint / Division, but there was one
Survival.
Yes,
yep.
You do this. You like my brother.
Well, Underground was just like more grinding. Survival was truly its own thing. That's what
I liked it though. You had to get the medicine. You had to stay warm. You know what I'm saying? You had to. It really survival immersed me more.
Yeah,
into that universe. Continue.
No, I was going to say, and that was why that's something to where it didn't matter how much you grinded, what your level was. If you want to go into a game mode and level the playing field, you get to do that. And we don't get that option in Destiny anywhere. It's not just like, Call of Duty has a gun game. For example, you start with a pistol kill, you keep going through the weapons, but everybody has the same experience. Skill will, kind of make you better through the levels, or, you may be better at knowing where to go and run and things like that. But you still all start at the same place. So something like that, where give us a longer mode, give us something where, you have these like 12-minute PvP matches, but give us something where there's more of a conquest, a, King of the Hill, something, and with a decent larger set of players. That's some of the modes that Destiny 2 would love to have.
And even four players in a fire team.
Yeah, I mean, no, but seriously, even if it's even if it's 4 players, 4 or 3, whatever, even if it's a 3-person, as like Doc said before, make it like a Nightfall world run. But I mean, I know the worlds they design are no question, but make it a lot darker, make it harder to see, make it to where you've got to stick together to maybe brighten up an area and work on finding. Give us a full mode that uses the area you've got, but in a completely different way. That is, say you have another vendor. I mean, Holidays in there, and say it's like, hey, this is a scouting type of PvE conquest. Who knows? But I mean, take those. It's poor on words right now. Sorry for everybody who's listening. But I mean, something like Survival, but have it go be like a Destiny version. You want to see people try something different, yeah, hell yeah. So I mean, Survival was the big one. I didn't play Last Stand, so I didn't actually get into that one.
Yeah, I didn't play Last Stand either. Yeah.
But I mean, they took something like Underground. It's like they added a completely regenerating. That was cool. Get a little repetitive for some, and yeah, the gear was there, and but there were some differences to it. But it was still, they added a completely unique thing to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prison of Elders was probably a similar version of that, so that's probably a fair comparison. But man, Survival, something like that would be amazing in Destiny. I would love to see that.
I would love to see it too, man. And at the end of the day, just to reel all this back in, as much as I am fearful as a Destiny fan, this is still good. And the reason why it's good is because Destiny has no choice but to step up its game, or you're gonna get swallowed up. You're gonna get swallowed up. So they've gone. I mean, obviously, I don't envy the devs. I know that they're crunched, like you said, this summer between now, all the way through 2017. This is a tremendous crunch for them to see what they're gonna come up with, to try to get this community all the way back. But there's gonna be some lines drawn in the sand. And one, competition is good. As gamers, we get the best out of it. Division's coming. Call of Duty's coming. It's gonna be interesting to see where everybody falls out. And all of this, and if Destiny actually can survive this, or if not, it's gonna see you at D3.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they do an E3 showing for Destiny 2?
Oh, absolutely.
Or, I mean, Taken King 2. I mean, do you think they do that there?
Absolutely, because tradition has shown that E3 is Activision treats E3 very big.
Right.
Destiny's a huge IP. They're going to have a presence there, and like I said, I'll be in PAX as well in a month. Make no mistake, they're gonna have a presence there with that next DLC. They use those big events to really. One thing about their marketing team,
Bungie's the hype train master. I'll give them that.
Oh, A plus plus plus. You know what I'm saying? So I am convinced that we will see something. The question will be with E3 is when the timing. Do they stick to their guns of their normal September release window? We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be real interesting if it's that's September. Oh, man, they just have so much, and things keep getting pushed. That's my biggest worry. It's like mods aren't gonna be ready for Maze expansion. That's literally your big expansion. That's what you want to bring people back for, and mods aren't gonna be ready for that.
Mods and weapon rework, weapon placement rework.
Yeah.
You know,
like that would be your time with that expansion to like just try it. Like, hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have this expansion. We know most of you guys, like if you have the season pass, already have this. We want our current player base to try this stuff out, and like, you know, there may be. And I wish there was a way for them to even do it to where here's a Crucible playlist. Here's a Crucible playlist where we flipped everything on its head. Give us a playlist where those weapon types are different.
Absolutely. Give us those bounties that force you to play different play. If you want us to use the damn grenade launchers, how about some bounties for that? You know what I'm saying? Let's get our strike specific. Look, we got those core thing, and I'm actually leaning towards Doc now. They may have to come faster, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, they may need to go faster. I just don't know if realistically they can.
True. And to your point, it needs to be done right. So there's a difference between rushing to get something out and getting it done right so that you actually
we've seen twice what rushing does to Destiny.
Yeah, you're right.
So no, I mean whether I'm right or not. I mean whether I know right, and we've all seen it. We've seen Destiny initial launch, like the story got rushed. The story was the big one. It's like, what the hell happened? There's a lot of vagaries, which gave people a whole lot to guess about. And Destiny 2, whatever this whole 16-month, if that's real, it makes sense because there's a lot that was left out. So again, rushing this game for people who burn through and want to play it as much as they can, if it's not there and right, I don't know. But I was like, but again, you have to answer to Activision shareholders. And it's like, does Activision take a hit to try and rebuild a franchise? Unfortunately, it's like, I don't know if they can take a hit because Call of Duty's not even the big powerhouse that it was before. And they don't have another giant IP. Blizzard doesn't have a thing that can be like, hey, we got Blizzard under us, and you know they're going to release this new thing that's going to bump us while we work on Destiny. None of that's there.
Facts.
So I don't know. I was like, I think we may have probably taken up enough of your time this morning.
The long point is completing.
But yeah, I was like, we got the Go Fast update hopefully coming. We'll get a feel for what things are like. But man, that far out a holiday season of packed full of games is, man, I don't know.
Man. We got to see how this thing's gonna play out, man.
I mean, all I can say though is if somebody ever gives me a real Pokemon on Switch, that's a problem as well.
They still got that. They still got what's crazy. They still holding on to that Ace.
Nintendo and Metroid.
So many things. Metro. Oh my god. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
But I was like, but yeah, Nintendo's getting the third parties in there. It's like stuff like, you know, Battlefield and Destiny won't run on there, but I mean, South Park Stick of Truth. I like the third party support on that one. That was actually cool to see as well. Just a little shout out to that. But no, Division 2, that was yesterday. I was like, whoa, what?
Didn't see that coming.
No,
I'll be honest. It blindsided me. I didn't think they'd be ready to talk about it so early. So
I mean, they didn't say much. They're just like, it exists. We'll talk to you at E3. And it's like, peace. 3 months. We're like, all right, we're going to hide in our box again. But that's planted a seed that makes a whole lot of people think.
Absolutely.
And that's going to make people judge what happens in Destiny even more, to be like, hey, like, we got this thing coming. It's like, am I really going to buy all these other things in Destiny? Or am I just going to wait, have Red Dead Redemption occupy me for a few months, and then maybe check out Division? Competition is at a whole new level right now. If you're a gamer, it's great. If you're a developer, I don't envy you. I was like, it's rough. And it's for any developer, it's like Call of Duty is smart. Rockstar's coming. We need at least a couple weeks, otherwise we're screwed. It's like they know it. They move.
Yeah.
So, but that just takes That is weird when you say that. Like, it's October 12th. When does Call of Duty usually launch? Like maybe November 12th, like even a month later, typically. Like
sometimes even
just
like November 7th, 8th, the end of that first week of November sometimes.
Yeah, gives them a couple weeks, and then you've got the Black Friday and all that fun stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
when you turn around and
Decision.
Man, so much to. It's gonna be an interesting year. So hopefully you guys enjoy these flashpoints. We call it Flashpoint. It's just a nice name for the chat, and it's definitely still going to be, you know, somewhat Bungie focused. But if we, you know, get off base and occasionally bring up other stuff, I hope you guys roll with us on those, because we're still gamers. This is not our only game, and as we've told you guys before, if this isn't your thing right now, we're here to let you guys know when it's good. Exactly. But if we're enjoying other stuff, we do like to talk about that as well. So hopefully you guys are a little more open-minded sometimes and enjoy some of these offshoots of discussion.
Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to my man, Chris Cobra Elite, man. He rocked with us pretty much the entire Flashpoint.
Yeah. And thanks again, man. I know you're here last time. I hit you hit me up on Twitter. So
yeah, man. Shout out to him, Chief. They were in there, and these are good talks, man. Just want to inform the community like what's going on. You know, for the people who still love the game. You know what's happening in the future, and be honest about it. And that's why I love doing it, man. It's really fun to do these video contests. It's literally us at Guardian Con all over again, talking Destiny for hours upon hours, and as you can see,
nerding out. That's just nerding out on a different level.
We nerd out, bro. That's what we do.
Yeah, even before and after on here, we're nerding out about other stuff like protein pancakes and cars, and we're people like the rest of you guys, but we definitely enjoy the game and talk. And I've been a gamer since 8-bit Nintendo. It's just in my blood at this point. It's in my DNA. So my brother's the same way, and his kids are gamers, and I'll play Monster Hunter with him. He's like, yeah, and they're working on Monster Hunter. It's like I'll get beefed up so they can go play. And I was like, we enjoy everybody. So, and I just want to thank everybody for the support.
Thanks everybody for coming through and supporting, man. And we'll get another one coming up next week, hopefully, and we'll see what's going on out here, man. 2
more TWABs before the patch.
Boom.
That's it. You got 15th and 22nd, and then bam, 27th. It's there. So
1.4.
Yep. And then April, got to start that marketing train, I think. So
marketing train for next expansion.
Then we're going to be breaking down trailers frame by frame. And,
oh, absolutely.
It's going to have them be like, all right, hold on, let me click forward 1 frame. Click. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk about the screenshot. So yeah, those will be fun. So, all right, I'll let you do your outro there.
Yeah, man, Lord Cognito here. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Cognito, on Xbox at Lord Cognito, and PlayStation at what's my PlayStation? I haven't played on PlayStation in a minute now. Cognito 360. Oh man, I had a blank. Switch you don't get because it's a social security /VIN number. We're not doing that.
Oh man, that's yeah.
Yeah, you could just DM me for that one.
Yeah, if you want to steal his identity, just ask directly. He's nice about it.
Exactly. And you can catch me and the rest of the Lords every Sunday. Iron Lords Podcast Church will be in session. Big guest. Please catch us this Sunday. We're going to have the United States NPD video game analyst breaking down numbers. It's going to be a huge show. Please show support. That's going to be on the Inner Circle Network Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Matt Piscatella will be in the building. Please, if you have any questions about why your favorite game didn't sell or your system, we're going to be breaking this thing down. It's going to be a fun show. It's a big show. Please support. Also, Saturday, we're doing a monthly thing with BRAP. Should be Lords of the Arcade. Just like a monthly show, kind of like a whole grizzled veteran gamers just talking, about the good old days and what's going on now. So catch that. I think that'll be Saturday at 6 p.m. on Brap's channel, I believe Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. And that's all I got, man. And we're going to be back in the building next week. Believe Friday morning again, right? We're going to keep it Friday. We're going to keep that
Friday morning for now, guys. Just kind of, it's my work schedule. So it'll be Friday morning or Thursday night. Just kind of depends on work, but Friday for a while, I think.
Yeah,
but
man.
Kind of like just get up and, get a good sleep, have a good chat, feeling fresh. So for you on the other side, you're about to go crash. But
Vampire Life, baby.
NPD. Wow, can't talk. I have a question, seriously, and I'm sure it's probably something already.
Sure.
I would be curious for NPD and their tracking, how much the digital world has changed, what their numbers they get access to, how much, you know, if they feel like, hey, these sales aren't here, but we know digital's there, but we don't get access because some companies don't release them or whatever. Like, that's kind of my big one for NPD. Like, how much does digital come into play? How much do they have access to? And how much does it, you know, what's the swing looking like? Is digital being even bigger? That's mine for you.
Absolutely. I'll definitely try to put that in for you, man. Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're around, stop by that chat about we miss you in the chat, man.
Sunday's like my one day out with my wife are usually just like,
I got you. I got you.
But I was like, I do try sometimes to get in there, and or at least if nothing else, I try and catch it later. So if I'm not there live, I'll try and catch it later.
I'll try to get your question. So pretty much your digital game question. I got you.
Yeah. So just about, you know, kind of digital and downloads and all that. It's like, it's a different world now. So I'm kind of curious what that does for them.
Absolutely, man.
But
where can people find you?
Ebontis basically everywhere. So Twitter, it's Ebontis. It's EBONTIS. Twitch.tv/Ebontis. Always streaming these live. He's got it on the Google. I've got it on Twitch. So, and then I'll get this onto my YouTube channel as well.
Nice.
And they're right there on YouTube, guys. Like, if you guys enjoy these, always leave comments on either channel. Check both of them out. Like, I mean, Iron Lords does awesome stuff. Their discussions, they get heated. They got a whole bunch of personalities in there. You got a lot of fun. I mean, we got passionate about this one. We got some personalities over there. It's a lot of fun. So we have our tangents, but yeah, those are awesome. So definitely check them out on Sundays, guys, or subscribe and give you something to listen to during the week. If you got YouTube Red, it's a good one to download. Listen to it while you're doing other stuff, because it is mostly audio. But I mean, come on, check that one out. It's awesome.
Check it out, man. Show some support. Appreciate it.
But as always, guys, you know me. Hit that like if you enjoy these. Subscribe. Leave a comment below. Honestly, if you made it to the end, leave a comment just saying, hey, you know, nice chat. Thanks. Keep it going. And if you got questions for us, leave them. We want to answer them for you guys, because we'd love to get some engagement to know what are your thoughts? Like, do you guys think, hey, it's got to be September, I got to get it soon? Or you guys like, I don't care if it's September of 2019, just take a year off and do it right. Like, I want to see the extremes. I want to see some comments, guys. Get some. The
division is looming. We need feedback.
Yeah. We have a big player in a pretty similar wheelhouse, so we got to know what's going on. But Yep. So as always, guys, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to everyone around the world. And I say around the world because I've actually checked up my YouTube analytics, and I've seen people look at my videos from like 80 different countries, which is insane. It's so cool. It's honestly really cool knowing that. So wherever you guys are at around the world, different time, different place, different continent, have a good one, guys.
You too. Peace.